And I have another question, and I'll just ask what's presented here. What's the biggest challenge with operating the tap wall?
Gary?
The biggest challenge with operating the tap wall, um, the tap wall really runs really smoothly. I think the biggest thing is just how many taps do you have, and do you have a solid person behind the scenes that's putting the beers on? Um, because they got to know what the beers are, and kind of like if you're trying to keep a certain order or what the plan is, even if you have the best plan in the cooler, if you got 72 taps and you got a lot of beer in the cooler, that's probably the toughest part, just to keep it all organized and making sure that you have enough of everything, you're not running out, but yet that many taps and that many kegs in the cooler, you got to keep it organized. So that's probably the biggest part.
Yeah, I mean, adding context, I mean, we have 72 taps and we carry roughly 110 kegs at a time. So like Gary said, just knowing where they're at, how to go about it, what one to hook up is huge at the end.
Yeah, I think you mentioned all of your staff are cicerones, so they kind of know. I can imagine that keeping that training up.
Yeah, all of our floor captains and our bar leads are all Cicerone trained. It's not a requirement, it's just something I give them for our full timers, so they get kind of an extra step of being able to walk people through on the tap wall of what's going on. It's also a perk that they can bring with them through life and forward.
How many tap changes are you experiencing on a busy weekend or for a big event, and how much do you focus on keg inventory levels prior to that event?
So that is not an easy question to answer, really, because it all, like, you could have a very slow day, but you just came up like on a Sunday, it could be slow, but Saturday was really busy and all the kegs could blow on Sunday.
Sure.
Uh, Last Saturday when it was really busy, I think we changed about 15 taps during that day,
Wow.
throughout the day. But with the granola and all that, it makes it easy. You can multitask. One thing I will note is that we cut back from who entered the beers into the system, just to just the upper management, just because they were not picking the right size kegs.
Mm.
The money and everything was right, but if you pick the wrong size keg, that affects the cost of the pour. So just start small with whoever you're going to allow put the kegs in the system. That'd be my best advice there.
Maybe
Good
a
advice.
maybe a picture of the keg on the interface would help.
Right.
Well, I think it's more of like the different invoices that come in from different vendors. Some are clean and nice and all in one line. Others are really messy. So it just gets confusing when you're ordering 15 kegs at a time and you got a really big
Oh,
uh
yeah.
receipt. It's just a little confusing for them to read when they get interrupted when they're trying to do it. Just all the different factors that'll happen into entering those in.
I want to
Oh, go
I'm
ahead,
ask,
Tim.